Maya Rodriguez never believed in crazy stories about aliens or space creatures. She was just a normal 17-year-old girl living in a quiet neighborhood with her mom and dad. Her biggest worry was passing her math test next week, not visitors from outer space. That Tuesday night changed everything. Maya was sitting by her bedroom window, doing homework and listening to music. Outside, the news had said there would be a meteor shower. She loved watching the night sky, so she kept glancing up to see the shooting stars, one by one. Tiny lights streaked across the dark sky like someone was throwing glitter. So pretty. She whispered to herself, watching another bright streak zip past. But then something weird happened. One of the shooting stars looked different. It was bigger, brighter, and instead of disappearing like the others, it seemed to be getting closer, much closer. Maya dropped her pencil and pressed her face against the window. The bright object was definitely heading toward her neighborhood. No, not just her neighborhood. It was coming straight for her backyard. "Mom, Dad," she called out. But they were downstairs watching television and couldn't hear her over the loud movie they were enjoying. The bright light crashed into the ground behind their house with a sound like thunder. Maya felt the whole house shake. The lights in her room flickered on and off. Car alarms started going crazy all down the street. Her heart was beating so fast she could hear it in her ears. She grabbed her phone and turned on the flashlight, then quietly opened her bedroom window. The cool night air rushed in as she climbed out onto the roof of their back porch. The first thing she noticed was the smell. It was like hot metal mixed with something sweet, like vanilla cookies. Steam was rising from a big hole in their backyard, right where her mom's vegetable garden used to be. Maya carefully climbed down the porch railing and walked across the grass. Her bare feet felt cold on the wet ground. As she got closer, she could see something glowing in the crater. It wasn't a rock or a piece of space junk like she expected. It looked smooth and round, like a giant egg made of silver metal. "What in the world?" she said quietly. Suddenly, a line appeared on the smooth surface. Then another line, and another. The lines formed a pattern that looked almost like a door. Steam hissed out from the cracks, and the sweet vanilla smell got stronger. Maya knew she should run inside and call someone. The police, maybe, or the fire department. But something made her stay. Maybe it was curiosity, or maybe it was the strange feeling in her chest that told her this was important somehow. The door-like shape slid open with a soft whoosh sound. More steam poured out. Glowing slightly blue in the darkness, Maya raised her phone to see better. A figure stepped out of the opening. Maya's mouth dropped open. She was expecting some kind of monster or weird creature with big eyes and green skin. Instead, she saw a girl who looked exactly like her own age. The girl had long dark hair, brown eyes, and golden brown skin. She was wearing clothes that looked normal, just made from materials that seemed to shine in the moonlight. The strange girl looked around the backyard, then her eyes met Maya's. A huge smile spread across her face, finally. The girl said in perfect English, with just a tiny accent, that Maya couldn't place. "I found you." Maya took a step backward. "Found me? Who are you? What is that thing?" She pointed at the silver pod. "My name is Zara," the girl said, walking closer. "And I know this is going to sound completely crazy, but I'm your sister." "That's impossible," Maya said quickly. "I don't have a sister. I'm an only child." Zara tilted her head, studying Maya's face. "You look exactly like I thought you would. Same eyes, same nose, even the same little scar on your chin from when you were 3. Maya's hand flew to her chin, where a tiny white scar had been since she was little. Her parents always told her she got it from falling off her tricycle, but she never remembered that happening. "How could you possibly know about that?" Maya asked. Instead of answering, Zara reached into a small bag attached to her belt. She pulled out something that looked like a clear, flat piece of glass. When she touched it, the glass lit up and showed a picture floating in the air above it. The picture made Maya's legs feel weak. It showed a baby with dark hair and brown eyes lying next to another baby who looked exactly the same. The babies were twins. and one of them looked just like the baby photos Maya had seen of herself. This was taken 17 years ago, Zara said softly, right before you were sent away to keep you safe. Maya stared at the floating picture. Sent away? Sent away from where? From our home planet, Zara said. From our family, from me. The words hit Maya like a punch to the stomach. She had always known she was adopted. Her parents, Carlos and Linda Rodriguez, had told her that when she was old enough to understand. They explained that they loved her just as much as if she had been born to them, maybe even more because they had chosen her specially. But Maya had always wondered about her birth parents. Were they still alive? Did they think about her? Why had they given her up? She never imagined the answer might involve spaceships and other planets. You're telling me I'm an alien? Maya asked, her voice shaking. Half alien. Technically, Zara said with a small smile. Our mother fell in love with someone from your planet many years ago. That makes us special. We can live in both worlds. Maya sat down hard on the grass. Her whole life, she had felt different from other kids. She was always really good at guessing what people were thinking. She could sense when someone was lying or upset, even when they tried to hide it. Teachers always said she was unusually smart and creative. Sometimes she had dreams about flying through stars. She thought those things just made her weird. Now, Zara was telling her they made her alien. I know this is a lot to take in, Zara said, sitting down beside her. I've been preparing for this moment my whole life. But you've had no idea any of this existed. Why now? Maya asked. Why did you come find me now? Zara's expression became serious. Because our people need us, both of us. There are things happening in space that I can't handle alone. And there are things on Earth that I don't understand. We're stronger together than apart. Maya looked at this girl who claimed to be her twin sister. Even in the weird blue glow from the space pod, Zara did look incredibly familiar. It was like looking at herself, but a version that had grown up. Somewhere completely different. What if I don't want any of this? Maya asked quietly. What if I just want to stay here with my normal life and my normal family? Zara reached over and took Maya's hand. Her skin felt warm and normal, completely human. Then I'll respect that, Zara said. I didn't come here to force you into anything. I came because I missed my sister, and because I thought maybe you missed me too, even if you didn't remember me. Maya felt tears starting in her eyes. She had always felt like something was missing from her life, like there was an empty space inside her that nothing could fill. She had tried to fill it with friends, hobbies, and achievements, but nothing worked. Looking at Zara, that empty feeling started to fade away for the first time in her life. What happens now? Maya asked. Zara smiled again, and this time it was full of hope and excitement. Now, she said, we figure out how to be sisters. The next morning, Maya woke up thinking everything had been a crazy dream. But when she looked out her window, the silver pie was still sitting in her backyard, and Zara was sitting on their back porch steps, watching the sunrise. Maya quickly got dressed and snuck outside before her parents woke up. Zara turned when she heard the door close and smiled like they had been friends forever. Good morning, sister, Zara said cheerfully. This is really happening, isn't it? Maya said, rubbing her eyes. Very real, Zara confirmed. I brought breakfast. She held up what looked like a normal apple, except it was bright purple and seemed to glow slightly. Maya stared at it. Is that safe for humans to eat? You're not fully human. Remember? Zara laughed. But yes, it's safe. It tastes like strawberries and chocolate mixed together. Maya took a small bite. Her eyes went wide. It was the most delicious thing she had ever tasted. Wow, do you have more of these? Plenty on the ship, Zara said, pointing to the pod. But Maya, we need to talk about some serious stuff. They sat together on the steps as Zara began to explain their real story. She told Maya about their home planet, Kepler 440b, which was beautiful and green with 3 purple moons. Their people lived in harmony for thousands of years until their sun started dying. Everyone panicked, Zara explained. The scientists said we had maybe 10 years before our planet became too cold to live on. The government started building giant spaceships to carry people to new worlds. Maya listened carefully, trying to imagine a whole planet of people who looked like them. But the spaceships weren't big enough for everyone, Zara continued. Families had to make terrible choices. Our parents decided to send you to Earth through an experimental portal when you were just a baby. They thought you would be safer here, and maybe one day you could help our people find a new home. What about you? Maya asked. Why didn't they send you to? Zara looked sad for a moment. Someone had to stay behind to help with the evacuation. I was chosen to train as a scout, learning about different planets and cultures. I've spent the last 15 years preparing to find you. Maya felt overwhelmed. So our parents are still alive? Yes, Zara said, and her whole face lit up. They're living on a space station near Jupiter with about 50,000 other survivors. They think about you every single day. Tears started rolling down Maya's face. She had always wondered if her birth parents loved her or if they just didn't want her. Finding out they had given her up to save her life changed everything. There's more, Zara said gently. Our people are running out of supplies. The space station was only meant to be temporary, but we haven't found a suitable planet to colonize yet. That's why I came to find you. What can I do to help? Maya asked. I'm just a high school student. You're so much more than that, Zara said, standing up. Let me show you. She walked to the middle of the backyard and closed her eyes. Suddenly, she rose about 3 feet off the ground. Floating in the air like gravity didn't affect her. Maya's mouth dropped open. How are you doing that? It's one of our natural abilities, Zara said, gently floating back down. We can also do this. She held out her hand toward a fallen tree branch. The branch began to glow and slowly lifted into the air, moving toward them. That's incredible. Maya breathed. Your turn, Zara said with an encouraging smile. Me? I can't do that. Stuff. Yes, you can. You've always been able to. You just never knew how to access it. Think about times when you felt different or when strange things happened around you. Maya thought about it. There were definitely weird moments. Like the time she was running late for school and somehow made it there in half the time it should have taken, as if she had been moving super fast. Or when she was really upset about her goldfish dying and all the plants in her room grew twice as big overnight. Focus on that feeling, Zara instructed. Now look at that flower over there and imagine it floating toward you. Maya stared at a dandelion growing near the fence. She concentrated hard, trying to remember how it felt when strange things happened. Slowly, very slowly, the little yellow flower began to wiggle. Then it lifted right out of the ground and floated through the air into Maya's hand. I did it, Maya shouted, then quickly lowered her voice so she wouldn't wake her parents. That's just the beginning, Zara said proudly. With practice, you'll be able to do much more. They spent the next hour experimenting. Maya learned she could make small objects move, sense what Zara was thinking when they touched hands, and even make herself jump higher than should be possible. This explains so much about my life, Maya said excitedly. I always felt like I was different, but I thought something was wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with you, Zara said firmly. You're perfect exactly as you are. But Maya, I have to tell you something difficult. Maya's excitement faded when she saw how serious Zara looked. Our people are in trouble. The space station is breaking down, and they need to find a permanent home soon. Some of the leaders think Earth might be the answer, but they're not sure. Humans would accept us. Why wouldn't they accept you? You look just like humans. Not all of our people look like us, Zara explained. You and I are mixed, remember? Pure-blooded people from our planet look quite different. They have silver hair, golden eyes, and they're much taller. Some humans might be afraid. Maya thought about this. Humans could be pretty scared of things that were different. Even people who look slightly different from each other sometimes had problems getting along. There's something else, Zara said quietly. If I stay on Earth much longer, I won't be able to get back to the space station. The portal technology only works for a limited time, and mine is almost used up. Maya felt her heart sink. She had just found her sister, and now she might lose her again. What are our options? Maya asked. I can take you with me to meet our parents and our people. Zara said, but if you come, you might not be able to return to Earth. Or I can go back alone and tell them about you, but then we'd be separated. Again, there has to be a third option, Maya said desperately. Maybe there is. Zara said thoughtfully, but it would mean convincing both our people and your people to work together. It would mean taking a huge risk that might not work. What kind of risk? Zara took Maya's hands in hers. What if instead of our people finding a new planet far away, they came here? What if we could prove to both sides that humans and our people could live together peacefully? Maya's mind raced with possibilities, like a test community or something. Exactly. A small group could come to Earth first, maybe a few hundred people. They could settle somewhere quiet and show humans that we're not dangerous. If it works, more could come later. And if it doesn't work, then our people would have to find somewhere else to go. And you'd have to choose between staying with your Earth family or coming with us. Maya looked at her house, where her parents were probably just waking up and getting ready for work. She thought about her friends at school, her favorite teachers, and all the places in her neighborhood that felt like home. Then she looked at Zara, who represented a whole other family and culture she had never known existed. How long do we have to decide? Maya asked. 3 days, Zara said. After that, the portal closes forever. Maya felt the weight of the decision settling on her shoulders. In 3 days, she would have to choose not just her own future, but possibly the future of 2 entire worlds. Maya couldn't sleep that night. She kept thinking about everything Zara had told her. 3 days to make the biggest decision of her life. 3 days to choose between the family that raised her and the family she never knew existed. The next morning at breakfast, Maya tried to act normal around her parents. Her dad, Carlos, was reading the news on his tablet while eating cereal. Her mom, Linda, was rushing around getting ready for work. Did you hear about that weird meteor last night? Carlos asked, not looking up from his screen. People all over the neighborhood are talking about it. The Johnsons said it shook their whole house. Maya nearly choked on her orange juice. Really? That's weird. Some people are saying it landed somewhere around here, Linda added, grabbing her coffee mug. I hope it didn't damage anyone's property. If only they knew, Maya thought. The meteor was currently hidden behind their garden shed, covered with an old tarp that Zara had found in the garage after her parents left for work. Maya met Zara in the backyard again. They had agreed to spend the day practicing Maya's abilities. But first, Zara wanted to show her something important. I need to contact our people, Zara said, pulling out the glass device Maya had seen the night before. They're waiting to hear if I found you. The device projected a large, clear image into the air. Maya saw the inside of what looked like a spaceship. People were sitting around a curved table, and they all looked almost human except for their silver hair and golden eyes. Council members, Zara whispered. And look, Maya, in the front. Maya gasped. A man and woman were sitting at the head of the table, and even with their different coloring, Maya could see they had her nose and Zara's smile. Our parents, Zara said softly. Council of Kepler Station. Zara spoke to the device. This is Scout. Zara reporting in. The woman at the front of the table leaned forward eagerly. Zara, dear one, did you find her? Yes, Mother. Maya's here with me. All the people in the projection started talking at once, excited and happy. Maya felt overwhelmed, seeing so many faces looking at her with love and hope. Maya, the man said, and his voice was gentle and kind. My daughter, you look so much like your mother did at your age. Maya felt tears in her eyes. Hi, she said quietly, not knowing what else to say. Her birth mother was crying. We have missed you every single day, little star, every single day. But then the mood changed. An older man with a stern expression spoke up. Zara, what is the human girl's decision? Will she come home to help us, or are we wasting precious time? Council Leader Dries, Zara said respectfully, Maya needs more time to consider all options. Time we do not have, Dries said coldly. The station's life support systems are failing faster than expected. If she cannot commit to helping her own people, Perhaps we should look for solutions elsewhere. Maya felt a flash of anger. Excuse me, but I just found out I'm half alien 2 days ago. I think I deserve a little time to process that. Several council members looked shocked that she had spoken back to their leader. But her birth father smiled proudly. She has spirit, he said. Just like her mother. Dry's frown. Spirit will not save our people, Commander. We need action. What if there was another way? Maya said suddenly. What if instead of me leaving Earth, some of your people came here? The entire council started arguing. Some thought it was a brilliant idea. Others thought it was impossible. Humans fear what they do not understand, Dry said firmly. They would never accept us. Some humans might surprise you, Maya replied. And Zara and I could help bridge the gap between our peoples. Before anyone could respond, Maya heard the front door slam. Her heart sank. Her parents were home early. Maya, honey, are you out there? Linda called from inside the house. Zara quickly shut off the device. Go, she whispered. I'll hide. But it was too late. Carlos and Linda walked around the corner of the house just as Zara was trying to duck behind the shed. Maya, Linda said, confused. Who is this? Maya's mind went completely blank. She looked at Zara, who looked just as panicked. Maya started, then stopped. There was no way to explain this without sounding crazy. Carlos stepped closer, studying Zara's face. She looks exactly like you, Maya. Are you related? This is going to sound unbelievable, Maya said slowly. But this is my twin sister. Linda laughed. Maya, sweetie, you don't have a twin sister. We would know. Actually, Maya said, taking a deep breath, there's a lot about my birth family that we didn't know. For the next hour, Maya and Zara explained everything. They showed her parents the spaceship, demonstrated their abilities, and even managed to get the communication device working again so her parents could see the space station. Linda sat down, hard on the porch steps. I think I need some coffee. A lot of coffee. Carlos was fascinated, asking dozens of questions about the technology and the other planet. This is incredible, Maya. Do you realize what this means for science? For humanity? It means our daughter might leave us, Linda said quietly. Maya sat down next to her mom and took her hand. I don't want to leave you. You're my real parents in every way that matters. But those people need you, Linda said, looking at the space station image that was still floating in the air. I can see how much your birth parents love you. What if we could help both families? Maya suggested. What if some of Zara's people came here, and we worked together to find solutions? Carlos was already getting excited about the idea. Think about it, Linda. Their technology could help solve so many of Earth's problems: climate change, energy shortages, diseases, and our culture could teach them about adaptation and cooperation. Maya added, humans are really good at adjusting to new situations. Linda looked worried. But what if other humans react badly? What if there's panic or fighting? That's why it would start small, Zara explained. Just a few families at first, in a remote location. If it works, more could come later. Maya's phone buzzed with a text from her best friend Ashley. Want to hang out later? I have so much gossip to tell you. Maya stared at the message, thinking about her normal life, school, friends, weekend movies, worrying about tests and crushes. Could she really give all that up? There's something else you should know, Zara said gently. If you decide to help us, you'll have to prove yourself to the council first. Prove myself how? There's a test called the Proving. It's designed to show that you still carry the essential spirit of our people, even after growing up on Earth. Carlos looked concerned. What kind of test? Physical challenges, mental puzzles, and test of character, Zara explained. It's meant to be difficult, even for someone raised in our culture. And if I fail, then the council won't accept you as one of us, and they won't consider Earth as a possible home. Maya felt the pressure building. Not only did she have to decide whether to help, but she had to prove she was worthy of helping. When would this test happen? Linda asked. Tomorrow, Zara said. The portal window is closing, and the council needs an answer. Maya looked at her Earth parents, then at her sister from space. then at the communication device still showing her birth parents waiting anxiously for news. "I'll take the test," she said finally, "but I want to do it my way." "What do you mean?" Zara asked. "I mean, I want to prove that being raised on Earth made me stronger, not weaker. I want to show the Council that humans and your people aren't just compatible. We're better together." Her birth father smiled from the screen, spoken like a true daughter of two worlds. Darius looked skeptical. The proving has never been attempted by someone with human influence. The risk of failure is extremely high. "Then we better start preparing," Maya said, standing up with determination. "Because tomorrow, I'm going to show everyone exactly what a girl from Earth can do." Linda stood up and hugged Maya tightly. "Whatever happens, we're proud of you, and we'll be here waiting when you need us." Carlos nodded. "Both families will support you, no matter what you decide." As the sun set that evening, Maya realized she wasn't just choosing between two families anymore. She was choosing to try to bring them together, even if it meant risking everything. Maya barely slept the night before the proving. She kept thinking about all the ways she could fail and disappoint everyone who was counting on her. What if her human upbringing really had made her too weak? What if she embarrassed herself in front of the entire council? At dawn, Zara woke her up gently. "It's time, sister." Maya's Earth parents were already awake, sitting at the kitchen table with serious expressions. Linda had made Maya's favorite breakfast, pancakes with strawberries. But Maya's stomach was too nervous to eat much. "Remember what we talked about last night," Carlos said, giving Maya a tight hug. "Use everything we taught you, your creativity, your problem-solving skills, your heart. And remember that we love you no matter what happens," Linda added, tears in her eyes. In the backyard, Zara activated the communication device. The holographic image showed the council chamber, but this time it was packed with people. Word had spread throughout the space station that the lost daughter was going to attempt the proving. "Maya of Earth," Council Leader Dries announced formally, "you stand before us to prove your worthiness as one of our people. The challenges you face were designed by our ancestors to test the purest qualities of our race. Are you prepared?" Maya's hands were shaking, but she stood up straight. "I'm ready." "The first challenge is the test of strength," Darius said. A section of the spaceship floor opened up, revealing what looked like a training room. "You must move 3 massive stone blocks into perfect alignment using only your natural abilities. Most candidates complete this in under 10 minutes. Zara whispered to Maya, "Focus on your energy. Like we practiced. Feel the power inside you and let it flow through your hands." Maya closed her eyes and concentrated. She could sense the heavy blocks even though she was millions of miles away. The technology somehow let her interact with objects on the space station as if she were really there. She reached out with her mind toward the first block. It was incredibly heavy, much heavier than anything she had practiced with. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, very slowly, the block began to rise. The people in the council chamber murmured with surprise. Maya was lifting the block, but she was doing it differently than they expected. Instead of using pure force like most candidates, she was finding the block's balance point and rotating it gently into place. Interesting technique, her birth father said proudly. Maya moved the second block, then the third. But as she positioned the final stone, she had an idea. Instead of just completing the basic alignment, she arranged the blocks in a pattern that created a small garden space in the center. "Why did you modify the traditional formation?" Darius asked, frowning. "Because the traditional way only serves one purpose," Maya explained. "This way, the blocks provide strength and structure, but they also create a space where something beautiful can grow. That's what I learned from humans. We don't just build things to be functional. We build them to make life better." Some council members nodded approvingly, but Darius looked skeptical. "The second challenge is the test of knowledge. You will be presented with an ancient problem that has puzzled our greatest thinkers." A complex holographic puzzle appeared in the air, a 3-dimensional maze with moving parts and symbols that kept changing. Candidates typically spend hours analyzing the patterns. Darius explained, "The record for solving this puzzle is 47 minutes, Maya stared at the puzzle for a few seconds. Then she did something that shocked everyone. She started asking questions. What was this puzzle originally designed for? She asked. It was created to test mental discipline and patience. One of the council members replied. But what was its practical purpose before it became a test? The council members looked confused. There was no practical purpose. It has always been a test. Maya smiled. That's where you're wrong. She began manipulating the puzzle, but instead of trying to solve it the traditional way, she was taking it apart. What are you doing? Darius demanded. You're supposed to solve it, not destroy it. I am solving it, Maya said confidently. This isn't just a puzzle, it's a teaching tool. Look at the symbols when I arrange them this way. As Maya rearranged the pieces, the symbols formed words in the ancient language. The words told a story about cooperation and understanding between different peoples. The puzzle was never meant to be solved alone, Maya explained. It was meant to be taken apart by multiple people working together, each contributing their own perspective. The real test isn't whether you can solve it by yourself, it's whether you're smart enough to realize you don't have to. The council chamber erupted in excited chatter. Maya had just revealed something about their own history that they had forgotten. Her birth mother was beaming with pride. She sees things we cannot see. But Darius wasn't finished. The final challenge is the test of character. This one cannot be explained in advance. You must simply respond to what happens next. Suddenly, alarms started blaring throughout the space station. Red lights flashed, and people began running in panic. This is not part of the test, someone shouted. We have a real emergency. On the screen, Maya could see that one of the space station's main systems was failing. If it wasn't fixed quickly, thousands of people could die. In the test, Darius commanded. We must focus on saving lives. No, Maya said firmly. Don't end it. This is the test. Everyone stared at her. Maya, this is a real crisis, Zara said urgently. I know, Maya replied. And the test of character isn't about following rules or completing challenges in a safe environment. It's about what you do when real people need help. Maya looked at the panicking crowd on the space station, then at her family on Earth, then back at the failing systems. I can't fix your technology from here, she said. But I know someone who might be able to help. She turned to her Earth father. Dad, you're an engineer. Can you look at their system readings and figure out what's wrong? Carlos stepped forward, studying the holographic displays that showed the station's status. It looks like a cascade. Failure in the power distribution network. But Maya, their technology is so advanced. I'm not sure I can help. What if we combine your engineering knowledge with their technology? Maya suggested. Zara, can you translate Dad's suggestions into commands your people would understand? For the next hour, Maya coordinated a rescue effort that spanned 2 worlds. Her Earth father identified the core problem using his human engineering knowledge. Zara translated his suggestions into technical language the space station crew could understand. Maya used her abilities to help the repair teams move heavy equipment quickly. But the most important thing Maya did was keep everyone calm and working together. When people panicked, she reminded them of their training. When different groups disagreed on solutions, she helped them find compromises. When someone got scared, she gave them hope. The repairs are holding, someone announced on the space station. The crisis is over. The council chamber fell silent. Everyone was staring at Maya with a mixture of amazement and respect. In 1 hour, Darius said slowly, you accomplished something that would have taken our best teams days to figure out. And you did it by bringing together knowledge from 2 worlds. That's what I've been trying to tell you, Maya said. I'm not weaker because I grew up on Earth. I'm stronger because I learned from both worlds. Her birth parents were crying with joy. Even Darius looked impressed. Maya of Earth, he said formally, you have not only passed the proving, you have shown us a new way of thinking. But now you must make your final choice. Will you come with us to find a new home among the stars, or will you stay on Earth with your human family? Maya looked at all the faces watching her, her birth parents on the space station, her Earth parents standing behind her, Zara beside her, and thousands of people whose lives hung in the balance. I have a counterproposal. She said confidently, what if the choice isn't between leaving or staying? What if it's about building something new together? She gestured to her Earth parents. These people raised me, loved me, and taught me everything I know about being strong and kind. And you? She looked at the space station, are my family by blood and my responsibility by heritage. I don't want to choose between you. What are you suggesting? Darius asked. Maya took a deep breath. I'm suggesting that instead of looking for a new planet, you consider making Earth your new home, not by taking over, but by joining us, sharing your knowledge, learning from our experiences, and building a better future together. The council chamber erupted in arguments again. Some people loved the idea. Others thought it was impossible. It would be an unprecedented experiment. Darius said thoughtfully, the risks would be enormous. So are the risks of continuing to drift through space looking for a perfect planet. That might not exist, Maya pointed out. At least on Earth, you'd have allies who want to help. Maya's birth mother stood up. I support my daughter's proposal. She has already proven that cooperation between our peoples is not only possible, but powerful. More and more council members began nodding in agreement. Maya had shown them something they had never considered. That being different didn't mean being incompatible. Very well, Darius said finally. We will consider a limited trial. A small group of volunteers will come to Earth and attempt to establish a cooperative settlement. If it succeeds, more will follow. 6 months later, Maya stood on a hilltop in Nevada, watching the most amazing sight she had ever seen. Below her, construction crews were putting the finishing touches on New Haven, the first joint human-alien community in Earth's history. The settlement looked like something from a dream. Human-built houses sat next to elegant alien structures that seemed to glow softly. In the desert sunshine, children from both worlds played together in parks that combined Earth flowers with plants from Kepler 440b. The community center was a beautiful blend of both architectural styles, with a dome that changed colors throughout the day. Hard to believe it all started in our backyard, Zara said, walking up beside her. Maya smiled. Sometimes I still can't believe any of this is real. The past 6 months had been the most challenging and exciting time of Maya's life. After the council agreed to try her plan, everything happened incredibly fast. The first group of 50 alien families arrived through a larger portal that the space station engineers had built out. At first, many humans were terrified. News reports showed people panicking, demanding that the government send the aliens away. Some politicians called for military action. Maya watched the coverage with a sinking heart, wondering if her plan had been a terrible mistake. But then something beautiful happened. Maya's Earth parents, Carlos and Linda, volunteered to be the first human family to officially welcome the newcomers. They appeared on television, explaining how Zara had become like a second daughter to them. These aren't invaders, Linda had said on the evening news. They're refugees looking for a home, just like humans have been throughout history. They have children who need schools, parents who want jobs, and dreams of building better lives. Carlos had brought blueprints and technical drawings, showing how alien technology could help solve Earth's energy problems without harming the environment. Imagine never having to worry about pollution again, he said. Imagine having clean power for everyone. Slowly, public opinion began to change. Scientists were fascinated by the new technology. Environmentalists were excited about the clean energy solutions. Teachers were amazed by the alien educational methods that helped children learn faster and remember more. Maya became the unofficial ambassador between the two communities. She spent her days helping alien families understand human customs and helping human families get to know their new neighbors. One of her favorite success stories was Mrs. Chen, an elderly woman who lived near the settlement site. At first, Mrs. Chen was scared of the aliens and complained to anyone who would listen. But when she fell and broke her hip, it was Killa, an alien healer, who helped her recover using advanced medical techniques that worked much better than human treatments. Now Mrs. Chen and Killa were best friends. They spent their afternoons teaching each other cooking recipes. Mrs. Chen learned to make delicious alien fruit pies. while Killa mastered the art of making perfect dumplings. The integration is going better than we hoped, Zara said, pulling Maya from her memories. But I know you're worried about something. Maya nodded. Tomorrow was a big day. Representatives from the United Nations were coming to visit New Haven and decide whether to approve more settlements like it around the world. If they said yes, thousands more alien families could find new homes on Earth. If they said no, the experiment would end and everyone would have to figure out what to do next. What if they don't understand what we've built here? Maya asked. What if they only see the risks and not the benefits? Then we show them what I showed Mrs. Chen. Zara replied, we show them that we're not so different after all. That evening, Maya's birth parents arrived from the space station. She still got emotional every time she saw them in person instead of through a hologram. Her birth mother, Lyra, hugged her tightly. My brave daughter, Lyra said. Look what you have accomplished. Her birth father, Commander Jackson, looked around the settlement with pride. When we sent you to Earth as a baby, we hoped you would find safety and love. We never imagined you would become the bridge between our worlds. The four parents, Carlos, Linda, Lyra, and Jackson, had become close friends over the months. They worked together on the settlement council, making decisions about everything from school curricula to garbage collection schedules. Are you nervous about tomorrow? Linda asked Maya. Terrified, Maya admitted. What if I mess up the presentation? What if I say the wrong thing? You won't. Carlos said confidently. You've never let us down yet. The next morning, Maya woke up early to prepare. She had practiced her speech dozens of times, but she still felt butterflies in her stomach. Today, she would be speaking to people who had the power to change the future. For millions of beings on two worlds, the UN representatives arrived in 3 black cars, looking very serious and official. Maya recognized the Secretary General from television, along with representatives from major countries around the world. Maya gave them a tour of New Haven, showing them the school where human and alien children learn together, the medical center, where doctors from both worlds shared knowledge, and the research facilities where scientists were developing new technologies to help both planets. Impressive, the Secretary General admitted. But how do we know this won't cause problems in other parts of the world? Not everyone is as accepting as the people here. Maya had been expecting this question. You're right that not everyone will welcome us immediately, she said. But that's exactly why we need to start small and prove that cooperation works. Every great change in human history started with just a few people willing to try something new. She led them to the community center, where a special presentation was waiting. Maya had asked families from both worlds to share their stories. A human farmer named Roberto talked about how alien agricultural techniques had tripled his crop yields while using half the water. An alien engineer named Vex explained how human creativity had helped her team solve problems that had puzzled their scientists for years. But the most powerful moment came when little Amy Johnson, age 7, stood up with her best friend Zilla, who was the same age but from Kepler 440b. I don't understand why grown-ups think we're different, Amy said in her sweet, clear voice. Zilla likes ice cream just like me. She gets scared during thunderstorms just like me. She laughs at my jokes, even the bad ones. Zilla nodded seriously. Amy taught me how to ride a bicycle. I taught her how to make flowers grow faster. We're not different. We're just friends. Maya saw several of the UN representatives wiping their eyes after the presentation. Maya gave her prepared speech, but as she looked out at all the faces, human and alien, young and old, hopeful and worried, she decided to speak from her heart instead of from her notes. 6 months ago, I was just a regular teenager who felt like she didn't quite fit in anywhere. She began. I had no idea I was part alien, and I definitely had no idea I would end up here. Talking to you about the future of two worlds, she paused, looking at her Earth parents and her birth parents sitting together in the front row. What I've learned is that family isn't about DNA or what planet you come from. Family is about the people who love you, support you, and help you become the best version of yourself. Here in New Haven, we've created a family that includes everyone. Maya gestured to the mixed crowd around her. Yes, we look different. Yes, we have different traditions and technologies. But we all want the same basic things: safe homes for our children, meaningful work, and the chance to build something better for the future. She took a deep breath. I'm not asking you to take a huge risk. I'm asking you to take a chance on hope. Give us permission to build more communities like this one. Let us prove that diversity makes us stronger, not weaker. When Maya finished speaking, the room was completely quiet for a moment. Then slowly, people began to applaud. The applause grew louder and lasted for several minutes. 3 days later, Maya got the phone call that changed everything. The United Nations had voted to approve 5 more settlements like New Haven, located in different countries around the world. We did it, Zara said, hugging Maya tightly. We all did it, Maya corrected, looking around at the celebration happening in the community center. Humans and aliens were dancing together, sharing food, and making plans for the future. A year later, Maya stood in the same spot on the hilltop, but the view was completely different. New Haven had grown into a small city. The 5 other settlements were thriving. More importantly, the technology and ideas shared between the two peoples had begun solving problems around the world. Clean energy from alien technology was reducing pollution in major cities. Advanced medical techniques were curing diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries. Human creativity and adaptability were helping the alien refugees build new lives that honored their past while embracing their future. Maya had started her senior year at New Haven High School, the first school in history to offer classes in both human and alien subjects. She was planning to study interplanetary relations in college, with the hope of helping establish even more communities like theirs. Any regrets? Zara asked, joining her on the hilltop. Maya thought about the question seriously. Her life had become more complicated than she ever could have imagined. She split her time between 2 families, 2 cultures, and sometimes felt like she was living into different war.